Most dog owners would never dream of hurting their dog, not deliberately, not cruelly, and certainly not in any obvious way. Yet it happens every single day. This breakdown doesn't occur because people do not love their pets enough, but because they keep sending love in a language their dog does not fully understand. Dogs do not measure love by our intentions alone, they measure it through safety, clarity, respect, and predictability. When we misread their subtle signals, what feels like harmless affection to a human can feel deeply confusing, dismissive, or even frightening to a dog. Today we are opening a behavioral audit into 7 everyday things that hurt your dog's feelings more than most owners realize. Welcome to Decoding Dogs. Let's unpack the blueprints. 1. Punishing the warning instead of listening to the signal. A dog licks their lips, looks away, freezes for half a second, turns their head, or moves back. When these subtle gestures are ignored, they might eventually growl. What do many owners do? They immediately correct the growl, snapping, "No, stop that, don't you dare." But the growl was never the actual problem. It was simply the final sentence in a long conversation your dog was already trying to have with you. Dogs are constantly broadcasting early behavioral signals when they feel uncomfortable. Most of these signs are incredibly quiet and polite, meaning humans miss them entirely. When a dog finally escalates to a vocal warning and we punish that escalation, we teach a dangerous lesson. Do not tell me how you feel, just endure it. A canine who learns that honesty is unsafe does not become calmer, they simply become quieter. That is not trust, that is behavioral suppression. A dog whose boundaries are respected rarely needs to shout. 2. Imposing physical affection without canary consent. Hugging, pressing your face into theirs, squeezing and constant reaching feel warm, close, and deeply affectionate to a human. To a canine, however, it can feel like a threatening display of structural dominance. A significant portion of domestic dogs merely tolerate this intense handling because they know you, possess gentle temperaments, and have learned that protesting yields negative results. However, passive tolerance is entirely different from active enjoyment. When a dog turns their head away during a kiss, stiffens their muscles mid-cuddle, yawns, or licks their lips, they are issuing a polite request for space. Ignoring these physical boundary markers causes the dog to realize that their comfort matters less than your desire for affection. True affection in a dog's world is much quieter, offering a neutral hand before initiating touch, stroking the chest rather than dropping a hand directly over their head, and providing the explicit freedom to walk away without being followed. 3. Shifting the household rules based on your mood. One day the dog is welcomed onto the sofa. The next day they are reprimanded for it. Last week jumping up to greet you was viewed as funny. This week it is labeled rude. Yesterday their barking made you laugh, but today it causes you to snap. While humans possess the cognitive flexibility to navigate inconsistent social rules, dogs rely entirely on fixed environmental patterns. Predictable patterns are how they make sense of our world, map out what is safe, and anticipate what happens next. When our boundaries shift based on what kind of day we are having, the dog cannot build a reliable mental map. The secure base effect. Renowned behavioral researcher Lisa Horn studied this exact phenomenon in domestic canines, demonstrating that a trusted owner functions as a stable, predictable anchor from which the wider world becomes manageable. If your tone changes unpredictably and your reactions depend on your mood, your dog begins living in a state of low-level chronic uncertainty, causing them to become hesitant, hypervigilant, and anxious. 4. Turning every daily walk into an executive mission. For a human, a walk is often viewed as simple physical movement, traveling from point A to point B to tick an exercise box. For a dog, a walk is a vital information-gathering mission. It is their primary opportunity to read the neighborhood's scent profile, check which animals passed through overnight, determine who was stressed, and orient themselves mentally. When an owner turns every single outing into a rushed mission, constantly pulling the leash, yelling "come on," "hurry up," and dragging them away from objects, the dog loses their most critical emotional and mental outlet. Over time, This systemic deprivation quietly damages the human-canine bond. The walk transitions from shared quality time into an exhausting chore where they are dragged through an environment they are forbidden to explore. Allowing a dog to stop and sniff isn't indulging a bad habit. It is letting them read the local paper. 5. Pushing them through fear instead of guiding them out. This mistake almost always stems from excellent intentions. Owners tell themselves, he has to get used to it, she needs to be braver. If I keep exposing her to this environment, she will realize it is fine. While systematic, gradual desensitization works beautifully, what many owners actually practice is flooding, forcing an overwhelmed dog to remain trapped in a terrifying situation. Whether it is a stranger standing too close, a chaotic room of loud children, or a busy street corner, holding a panicked dog in place by force does not teach them the world is safe. Instead, they learn that you will actively abandon their emotional needs when they are terrified. This shifts their distress from the event itself onto your judgment. A dog who feels emotionally secure knows that when they struggle, their handler notices and steps in to help. A dog pushed through fear repeatedly learns that when they struggle, they are entirely on their own. 6. Only directing attention toward loud behaviors. The dog barks frantically, so you turn around to address them. The dog paws aggressively at your legs, so you look down. The dog whines, jumps, and demands interaction, and suddenly they receive your full, undivided presence. Meanwhile, all of their quiet, polite bids for connection go entirely unnoticed by the household. The soft lean against your shin while you work. The calm look from across the room. The way they settle quietly near your feet without asking for a thing. Or the toy drop gently at your side. These are all highly sophisticated canine requests for connection. Because they are not disruptive, humans overlook them. If the only behavioral bids that ever secure your attention are the loud, intense ones, your dog learns a practical lesson. Calm connection is invisible. Intensity gets results. This is how owners accidentally train the exact needy, exhausting behaviors they complain about. 7. Utilizing intimidation. When they are deeply confused, the harsh, booming voice, the towering physical posture, the sudden leash jerk, or the repeated, frustrated no are disciplinary tactics people justify constantly. They claim the dog is being stubborn, testing boundaries, trying to dominate the household, or needs to know who is boss. However, detailed behavioral analyses show that the dog is almost never being defiant. They are simply conflicted, underinformed, overwhelmed, or afraid. When initial confusion is met with physical or vocal intimidation, the dog doesn't become more secure. They become fundamentally cautious around you. They may obey your commands, but all joy instantly drains from their body language. The cognitive cost of pressure. This isn't just an assumption. There is hard science behind why intimidation fractures your relationship. Canine behavior researcher Rachel Casey and her colleagues conducted extensive studies on the long-term impacts of training methodologies. Their research revealed that dogs trained using aversive, pressure-based methods appeared significantly more pessimistic in cognitive tasks. This means that when faced with an ambiguous situation, these dogs consistently expected a negative outcome. The use of intimidation doesn't just alter what a dog does, it fundamentally alters their baseline mood, teaching them that the world and their handler is less safe than it appeared a moment ago. Making a dog feel small in the exact moments they need clear, calm guidance is the absolute deepest way a bond gets broken. None of these mistakes make you a bad owner, they simply make you human. Dogs are extraordinarily forgiving creatures, and the moment you begin speaking love in a language that prioritizes their emotional safety, your entire relationship will transform. Your dog isn't asking you to be a flawless trainer, they are just asking you to be understandable. Drop a comment below, letting us know which of these 7 everyday habits surprised you the most. If you want to continue utilizing behavioral science to decode your pet's mind, hit that like button, subscribe to Decoding Dogs, and we will see you in the next investigation.